It's official. Jenny Honeycutt is the new council member for Charleston County Council's District 9 seat. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And listen to this interview later on iHeartRadio. Jenny Honeycutt, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Quintin.
Yes, yes. So here we sit. You are the new councilwoman for Charleston County Council's District 9 seat. Tell me, where are you emotionally?
I'm just thrilled, again, humbled that the voters of James Island, Folly, Kiowa, and Seabrook would put their trust in me, and I'm ready to get to work.
You talk about work. What will you do for James Island and the rest of the islands?
Well, obviously, we have the SIB decision on the contract coming up in the next week to 10 days, and so that'll be something I'm monitoring very closely. I won't take office until January, but until then, I'll be getting on the ground and making sure that I know exactly what's going on so we are prepared on day one.
So what is going on now in your district?
Oh my gosh, lots of things. Everything from the improvement projects to these flooding studies that are going on. I was very excited to see that they entered an intergovernmental agreement to study all the drainage basins on James Island. And obviously we're still working on the agreement with the State Infrastructure Bank for 526. And so there is a lot going on in James Island and the adjacent districts though.
And you talk about taking office in January. What else will you do on day one?
The Navy Hospital is one of those things that I'm really interested in sort of getting involved in. I've already reached out to see if I can assist on a committee to do a study of that area with the Urban Land Institute. I think there are some great ways to use that property that we haven't fully explored. And so bringing in some outside resources from more urban areas to do a really transit-oriented development in that location, since the BRT may have a super stop there, would be a great way to use that property. And so that's one of the things that I've already reached out and would like to be involved in.
And you talk more about public transportation and the super stop. How does public transportation look in the future when it comes to the islands?
Well, as you've seen in the paper recently, there is a housing crisis, and people that need to work downtown are having to travel from way outside town where they can afford housing. And transit gives us the opportunity to let people travel by transit into the city. And so if we're able to put housing in an area like the old Navy Hospital and sort of a mixed-use development there, then I think that would help fulfill that need. So I think it's very important that we start looking at alternative forms of transportation, particularly to meet the needs of our workers coming in and out of the city.
And when you look at the district that you are going to represent, what is that future?
Really, it goes back to my platform from the very beginning. It's safe roads, smart growth, and sound leadership on council. And listening, that includes listening to everybody. And I understand that there are people that didn't agree with me on everything, but what I found as I campaigned is there are far more things that unite us than divide us. And so I'm very happy about the work they're doing to addressing flooding in my district, the work they're doing to work together as various municipal entities. Sure. As you know, James Island is very divided in that way. And so everything from the PSD to the town to the city of Charleston to unincorporated areas, it's just really important that we all work together.
And I'm looking back at your results from last night. You won 64% of the vote to Joe Milligan's 36%. What is your message as we sit here right now to the voters and residents that you'll serve on county council?
Well, I'm very encouraged by those numbers because what I saw in the precincts is that even in areas where in Democrat races they were winning 2-1, voters crossed over and they voted for me. So I think it shows that we ran a positive campaign and that one that was committed to these ideals that really aren't so much partisan. And people took that to heart. It also shows me that James Islanders and those on Kiowa, Seabrook, and Folly, they're engaged. They were looking. They weren't just voting, straight party. And so that was encouraging to me. And to those, that were on the other side, I do want to acknowledge my opponent. We spoke on the way here, and he ran a fantastic campaign. His message helped shape our discussion, and there is a lot to be done in terms of preserving our community and our way of life. And so I really appreciate that being part of the discussion. And to those people, I would say that is one of my top priorities from the very beginning. safe roads and smart growth are two sides of the same coin, and so we will be working to preserve our quality of life in District 9.
And how do those roads look right now?
I think it can be done, but it takes, on the third element, sound leadership. It takes people working together in those various roles to make sure that all those levels of government are cooperating, and that we're also addressing appropriately the development issues in terms of zoning and planning. But what I've determined is it is just irresponsible to withhold infrastructure to try to control growth. That's not how we do it. And so the appropriate thing is to put the appropriate measures in place. For instance, the Folly Road corridor that they're working on and the overlay down Maybank Highway are going to be huge in starting to lay out the future of what James Island and Johns Island will look like. And so we just have to work together.
And you talk about leadership. Who will you bring to the table from the PI or from PSD and obviously the city of Charleston?
Well, I hope to bring everybody. I'm not leaving anybody out. I really feel like I can work with everybody that's over there. Obviously, county issues as they relate to the PSD are a little different than the town issues that relate to the PSD. But I plan to work with Mayor Woolsey as well on the town side. And then, of course, with the unincorporated and city areas, bringing those parties to the table. I think the changeover at the city level in the Public Works Department is sort of an open door, an opportunity to bring somebody new in, and so we'll be working with those people as well.
Jenny Honeycutt, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you, Quintin.
Thank you.